Welcome back to the channel. If you are returning, welcome. If this is your first time here, I am the Blunt Reader. This is going to be a general reading for the sign of Scorpio. Last but not least, this is going to be for February 2020 or whenever you see this video and it resonates with you. We are going to take a look at love first, and then we will take a look at general being your finances, career, anything that you need to know, be aware of, or focus on in the month of February. Because this is general, it cannot and will not resonate with every single person who is watching this video. If you would like to book a personal reading with me, you can do so by visiting my website. That information is down below in the description box. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into your reading. So what I heard is saving all my love for you. So there could be somebody that you're saving your love for. There could be somebody who is saving all of their love for you. We're going to see. You have popped up in both Virgo and Libra's reading today. So if you are connected to one of those signs or both of those signs, no judgment. You may want to go check out their videos as well. Spirit, what message or messages do you have for... Okay. We have forgiveness. So maybe in the month of February, you find yourself, I feel like being more open to forgive either somebody, forgive yourself. Maybe somebody is having to forgive you for something, and maybe you've been trying and putting forth effort into getting this person to forgive you. I also feel like this doesn't just apply to romantic relationships. It could be a friendship. It could be a family situation, a family member. But I feel like in the month of February, or whenever you're watching this, it's going to be very important for you to forgive. Maybe you've had a hard time forgiving because there was a lot of confusion surrounding what happened or why this person did what they did. And because there was a lack of clarity, it was difficult for you to forgive. Or vice versa. Anything that I'm saying can be vice versa. I'm hearing harboring emotions. So there could have been some emotions that you have been keeping to yourself. Maybe you felt some kind of way about something and you didn't talk about it. But perhaps in February you feel inclined, or a situation comes up that kind of allows you to express yourself, or you just get to the point where you want to express yourself. Whatever it is, I feel like when you speak about it or when you communicate with this person or these people, it really creates an opportunity for growth for both of you. And it ultimately strengthens the relationship, the bond. Saving all my love for you, because I feel like you know that you want to be with this person. And relationships, regardless of what type of relationship it is, it does require that you forgive. And maybe you have to forgive people a lot of the time. And that's not to say that, you know, this person is cheating on you every other day. That's not the only thing that you have to forgive people for. Maybe somebody disregarded your feelings. Maybe somebody said something that upset you. Maybe this person didn't show up for you in the way that you wanted them to. Whatever the case may be, there is a need to forgive somebody, and maybe that person is yourself. I feel like somebody has been holding back, and maybe you didn't recognize it before, or you did. But you're apologizing for not being 100% present, for not giving as much as you could, for being a bit reserved, for not expressing your emotions again, because I feel like harboring emotions is something that is happening. I feel like for some of you, especially with Valentine's Day coming up, there could definitely be some sort of romantic gesture that somebody is doing. Either you're doing this or this person is doing this for you. But it feels like it really helps the relationship as a whole. I feel like there may be things that need to be hashed out, that need to be discussed, that either you haven't been talking about or this person. So we have forgiveness. What message or messages do you have for love? We have death. We have you. We have the Six of Cups at the bottom of the deck. So there could have been an ending in a relationship or a connection that you are involved in. Even if it wasn't an ending, it could be an end to a rough patch, and now you have reconciliation with the Six of Cups. This could also be somebody coming back wanting your forgiveness, somebody that you need to forgive. But with death being here, it's an ending, yes, but it's also about rebirth. It's also about transformation. So again, I feel like there's growth here. So maybe things have been difficult in your relationship, but it's giving you the opportunity to grow, to forgive each other, to forgive yourself, to be more present in the relationship, to make sure that you are giving 100% of yourself. Because even though this is death, it's like this woman is crying, but the skeleton is there, like comforting her. So it doesn't really feel like it's a volatile situation. It just feels like things have been difficult. Maybe things have been said and done, and now it's an opportunity to kind of heal. But you have somebody who's there to kind of comfort you, somebody that you feel safe with. I feel like this is somebody who really adores you, and they realize what they have. And in the background, the sun is coming up. We have the Empress. If you identify with feminine energy, then this is how this person is viewing you. I really feel like you both are kind of emerging as the Empress and the Emperor. Some of you could definitely be having a Scorpio child. You know, with this making up y'all seem to be doing Valentine's Day, listen, that's your business. But it could definitely be that with the Empress being here, because she is pregnant. But I feel like this is like renewed hope. Like maybe you thought things were over, you were questioning whether or not this was something that you wanted. It just feels like there's a lot of arguing, or there has been, and maybe you thought about calling it quits. But I feel like everything that's happening, all of these triggers that you are experiencing or have experienced, are helping you get to this Empress and the Emperor. It's ultimately transforming you for the better, it seems. One more card, please, for Scorpio regarding love. Scorpio, love, February. I asked for one card and you gave me the whole deck. Let's try this again. One card, please, Spirit. Scorpio. You know what? If that's what you want to do, Spirit, cool. This is what we're going to do. We have the Two of Pentacles, the Page of Swords, Nine of Swords, Three of Cups, Ten of Swords, Queen of Pentacles, and the Ace of Pentacles. With the Two of Pentacles that is here, I feel like finding the balance. I also feel like you're having to learn, especially if this is a relatively new relationship, you're really having to learn how to work with one another. Maybe it's your personalities. Maybe you both have very strong and dominant personalities, and you're kind of having to work with that, work with your masculine and feminine energy in a way that is balanced, that honors both of you, so you don't feel like you're kind of giving up who you are. The Two of Pentacles is also about that indecisiveness, again, because maybe there has been a lot of conflict and you have kind of felt like, is this something I should be doing? And I feel like in Virgo's video, I think it was Virgo, the question of, do I keep fighting for this or do I just let it go, was, you know, where they kind of found themselves. And with this Two of Pentacles, that's kind of how I feel as well. Like, do I keep fighting for this, or do I just let this go? The Page of Swords could be, you two having conflict, saying things, doing things to kind of antagonize one another in a way. This could also be spying and lurking. This Ten of Swords ties in with the Death card. This is an ending to feeling unsure, because it's right under the Two of Pentacles. I feel like you get to a point where you realize, like, yes, this is the person that I want to be with, but I'm also hearing sabotage. So for some of you, you could be self-sabotaging this relationship, and maybe it's not really as bad as you're making it. Maybe there is some underlying fear that you have regarding this relationship and it actually being successful. For some of you, though, you could have found out that there was a third party, the Three of Cups with this Page of Swords here. We have the King of Pentacles at the bottom of this deck, Queen of Pentacles here, counterparts. You could be dealing with an Earth sign, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. Please clarify death. Yeah, like I said, Five of Wands, Three of Swords. But with this Five of Wands, it's like a clash of personalities. Kind of fighting for dominance, fighting to have the last word. It feels like a death to competing against one another and realizing that you're on the same team and you may be causing more damage than you need to with this Three of Swords. For some of you, though, because the Five of Wands is also about a lot of people, there could have been somebody else. I feel like that's a very small number of you. I feel like more than anything, it's just you and this person in the process of trying to learn one another and learn how to communicate, how to effectively be in a relationship together. Maybe this person is different than what you're used to. Maybe you and this person are very different. You communicate in different ways. You see things differently. And that's creating a lot of conflict, a lot of chaos. And that goes back to this Two of Pentacles of finding the balance, compromise, learning how to work with one another and not work against each other, because you're not the issue. This person is not your issue. You are not this person's issue. The problem is something else, and you have to learn how to attack the problem and not one another. Please clarify the Five of Wands and the Three of Swords. King of Swords. Somebody has a sharp tongue. Either you or this other person. This person can also become very cold and detached when they are angry, when they are upset, and maybe they say things that upset you, or you do this to this person. They just kind of spaz out a little bit. Please clarify the King of Swords. The Emperor. But there's transformation, there's growth. Again, you're changing into the Emperor and the Empress. And maybe for the feminine energy, you've already somewhat been in this Empress energy. There's always room for improvement, but maybe you were a little bit more advanced when it comes to relationships, or when it comes to communication and how you view things and knowing how to effectively communicate. Not that this other person doesn't know anything, but maybe you have maybe you look at it from, a higher perspective. Is that even the word I'm trying to say? It's like in terms of spirituality, you may be further along in your spiritual journey, so you look at things differently. You realize that everything that is happening for a reason. It's happening so that you grow, so that you evolve. You understand triggers. You understand why things happen in relationships, because this is trying to show you something. Like, you have a deeper understanding of it on a more spiritual wavelength. And so you showing up as the Empress here is like this person is now changing into the Emperor. Again, it doesn't mean that this person is beneath you or like they don't know anything. Maybe they just had a little bit more work to do. Maybe it's because they started on their journey a little bit after you. Whatever the case may be, I feel like you're now getting to this point where you're on the same page. where you're on the same frequency. You're starting to see things differently. Again, there's been growth, there's been change, or there is growth, there is change happening. And yeah, the Three of Swords, it's been a little bit disheartening at times. It's been a little upsetting. It's part of the process, essentially. We have the Lovers at the bottom of the deck, though. Please clarify the Empress. The Nine of Swords. I feel like it's because the feminine energy may be questioning, is this something that I want to continue to do? Is this something that I want to continue to fight for? This could also be the feminine energy experiencing a lot of stress, worry, and anxiety, or it could be the masculine energy who is experiencing this, and because they are in this energy, maybe they're kind of taking it out on the feminine energy, or it could be both of you kind of in this energy and you're taking it out on one another, again fighting against each other instead of, you know, alongside each other. Ace of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck, and the Four of Wands right behind that. Ten of Pentacles here as well. I feel like this is a really solid and stable connection. We have the Ace of Pentacles here as well. And it is something that you can have long term, something that you can, you know, continue to give to and build. And this is somebody that you can have a family with if that's what you desire to have. Somebody that you can get married to. I feel like the intentions of this person and of you, are the same. Like, you want the same thing. It's just kind of navigating through this energy of trying to learn how to work with one another. Please clarify the Nine of Swords. The number 27 may be significant to you. We have the Eight of Swords. It's a whole bunch of mental energy here. Maybe there's something that needs to be said with the Page of Wands that is at the bottom of the deck. Again, with the forgiveness card, somebody could have been harboring emotions. So, you know, maybe you've wanted to say something. Maybe this person has wanted to say something, but they haven't said anything, possibly for fear of it leading to an argument, it being taken the wrong way, something to that extent. Please clarify the Eight of Swords. We have Death again, and we have the Empress again. So I feel like with the Empress already being here, Death is here as well. You're also going through transformation, this feminine energy. Like, you were already the Empress, but again, there's always room to grow. So though you may have already been in this position of being the Empress, it's like a new level in Empress hood, if you will. There's still transformation taking place for you as well, feminine energy. There's still growth happening. Maybe for you it has to do with communicating. Maybe that was an area where you struggled. Knowing how to properly and effectively communicate. Please clarify the two. We have the Chariot. We have the Queen of Cups. I feel like for at least one of you, either the feminine or masculine energy, you let your emotions get the best of you, especially when you're upset. And that causes you to question whether you want it. It's like, because you're upset, you may be ready to call it quits. The Tower at the bottom of the deck. You may be ready to run. And maybe this is also part of what you've had to learn. This is also knowing how to balance your emotions. Please clarify the Queen of Cups and the Chariot. Eight of Cups, Nine of Wands. Makes sense, because like I said, some of you allow your emotions to take over. You let your emotions get the best of you, and maybe that has you with one foot in the door, one foot out the door. Again, going back to forgiveness, maybe you realize that you haven't been 100% invested in this. Maybe because you are defensive, because you are guarded, whether it's something that happened between the two of you, Ten of Swords, or this is a past energy that you haven't yet healed from completely. There may also be a need to heal a relationship with a mother. Maybe your mother is somebody that you need to forgive, and in forgiving your mother or your father, or both, it helps you with your relationships. I feel like there's learned behavior here that maybe you should unlearn and figure out a different way. Maybe it's, the way you saw conflict resolved in your household growing up, and now you've kind of adapted that, or there's something that either one or both of your parents do or did, and now you do that same thing in your relationships and it's causing issues. I feel like there's a learned behavior that has to be unlearned or at least adjusted. Please clarify the Page of Swords. The Tower, the King of Pentacles, and then we have the Page of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. You have the Queen of Pentacles here. Again, we have counterparts. With this Tower being here, it's like something coming to an end. Whether that's the relationship ended, there was actual separation between the two of you, and now you're coming back together to reconcile. Or there's just a cycle in this relationship closing out, and you're starting over with this Page of Pentacles, planting a new seed, making a pact, an effort to do things differently this time around. I feel like some of you have to, either ask for forgiveness or forgive somebody for something that they said that could have kind of led to this Tower moment. Please clarify the Tower and the King of Pentacles. Please clarify the Tower and the King of Pentacles. The Ace of Pentacles. Again, Ten of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. I feel like this is a very, very stable connection. Even if it doesn't feel very stable, it's something that's going to take time, because it takes time to get to this Ten of Pentacles. That's not something that happens overnight. But you have the Ace of Pentacles here twice. Stability, longevity, something that you can continue to see grow over time. And you have the energy of two people who can make this happen. It's just going to require effort. Which I feel like you are both at a place, at least now you are, or you will be in the month of February, where you're really committed to making this work. Please clarify the Nine of Swords. Five of Cups. Nine of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck says that it may take some time to get things back on track, possibly because somebody is still focused on what has already happened, and this is what needs to be forgiven. You got to forgive yourself for whatever you did. Forgive this other person for whatever they did. And don't allow your mind to be consumed with what has happened in the past. Whether in this situation or in a previous situation that has happened with somebody else. Especially if it's a previous situation. Don't make this person pay for something that somebody else did. Please clarify the Five of Cups and the Nine of Swords. We have the Moon in reverse. Something being revealed. It could be whatever this person has been harboring or what you have been harboring. It could be that this person isn't over something that has happened in the past, and maybe that's something that you two discuss. And I feel like you kind of have to go into that conversation, if this is something that happens for you, with an open mind. Because I don't necessarily feel like this person still has feelings for this person. It's just they're not over whatever happened in that situation. Or whatever happened between you two. Maybe there was an incident and you never fully talked about what happened or how you felt, how this person felt. And that's something you need to revisit so then you can move forward. Please clarify the Moon in reverse with the Five of Cups. Why is the Moon here in reverse? I feel like in the month of February, you're going to be shining a light on something. Again, I felt like something needed to be said, but it hasn't been. So either you're keeping something from this person or this person is keeping something from you. Not saying something, not communicating about something. We have the Nine of Pentacles. The Nine of Pentacles is usually somebody who is single, independent, abundant, focused on their self, basically. Maybe there is, for some of you, an energy of somebody wanting to be single, at least thinking about it again, going back and forth between whether they want to make this work or not. For some of them, maybe they miss their freedom. We have the Devil here as well, Capricorn energy. You could definitely be dealing with an earth sign. We have the Knight of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Please clarify the Page of Wands in reverse. Why is the Page of Wands here in reverse? The Hermit. Harboring emotions, harboring feelings. So instead of communicating, they isolate. They hold it in. And maybe that causes them to, spaz out. Tower moment, Page of Swords. Because it gets to a point where they're bottling up how they feel. Maybe because they feel like they can't say anything unless it's done in a certain way. Or unless it pleases this other person. And so they hold it all in. Six of Swords is at the bottom of the deck. Again, maybe what they're holding on to is the fact that they want to leave or they've thought about leaving. Please clarify the Nine of Pentacles. The Fool, the Knight of Cups. The Fool is about taking a leap of faith. And this Fool is moving right towards this Knight of Cups, this offer that is coming in. And I feel like it's really about taking a leap of faith and diving into this relationship, this connection, head first. Allowing yourself to, without any reservations, without any hesitation, without any fear. Because again, I feel like maybe for both of you, in some capacity, you've been holding back. You haven't been 100% invested in this relationship. Not that you didn't want it, but there was some part of you that wasn't fully there. Or you were holding back something from this other person. Whether it was something you were saying, whether, you've given this person your heart, but only to a certain extent. Or you've only allowed this person to get to know you as much as you felt comfortable. And it's like really diving into this head first. From a position of being healed with the Nine of Pentacles. Of being aware of the fact that you deserve a good connection, a healthy connection. Please clarify the Devil. Judgment in reverse. So a decision that's not being made. With this Devil card, for some of you, it could be that something in the relationship is a bit toxic. Maybe the fact that, somebody is holding back something, or the way that they handle something is a bit toxic, and that needs to be resolved. That needs to be worked on. But again, I feel like it's learned behavior that somebody needs to unlearn. I feel like it's toxic, and something toxic, no matter how you flip it, it's still going to be toxic. But I don't feel like it's the type of toxicity that will destroy you, destroy the relationship. I just feel like there's a way that somebody is either viewing relationships, viewing this relationship, or something that they're doing in this relationship that is toxic. Maybe they are a bit controlling. Maybe the way that they've learned to deal with their emotions, the way that they've learned to be in relationships is very toxic. And that's something that they have to work on. Please clarify the Three of Cups. Two of Pentacles. But like I said, because the Three of Cups is about reunion, it could also be about a third party. If there was a third party, I feel like somebody has made a choice with this Two of Pentacles in reverse. But in terms of, this being about reunion and coming back together, or just, getting to a point in your relationship where you're like, okay, this is what I want. Like, I'm no longer unsure. Because I do feel like some of you were unsure of if this was something that you wanted. if you wanted to keep trying, if you wanted to keep fighting for this. And I feel like you make your decision. Like you come to this place of finding the balance, of weighing the pros and cons, and realizing that, yes, there are some cons. There are going to be cons in every situation, because no relationship is perfect. This person is going to do something that gets on your nerves. But it's like the good outweighs the bad, and I'm willing to work on this. I'm willing to fight for this. I realized that I wasn't doing everything that I needed to do in this connection either. So if we're going to make this work, we both have to be willing to give 100%, to not be reserved with our love, with our feelings, with the way that we communicate. Please clarify the Ten of Swords. I'm going to take this one. It's the same damn card. Okay. Please clarify the Ten of Swords with the Ten of Swords. Seven of Swords. In reverse, though, because there's an ending to this. Ace of Swords at the bottom of the deck. Ten of Swords, the ending. Ace of Swords, the beginning. Deception, manipulation. This could also be you deceiving yourself, but this is in reverse, so it's coming to an end. I feel like this deception, for some of you, again, it could have been a third party. Maybe you found out about that. Maybe that's something that you have to forgive. But for others of you, I feel like it could just be holding on to some information. Not communicating, knowing that you aren't given 100%, knowing that you've thought about leaving, you had one foot in the door, one foot out the door, or you were looking back towards the past and not really focused on where you were going, whatever the case may be. But I feel like there's an ending to that, and then you have the truth, because I feel like there's a need to have a heart-to-heart conversation to really clear the air and move forward with this clean slate, with the Fool being here. Please clarify the Queen of Pentacles. Ten of Wands, something being a burden, something feeling overwhelming. Please clarify. We have the Hangman, the Lovers, the Queen of Swords, the King of Cups. I think we had the King of Swords and the Queen of Cups earlier, so counterparts again. Some of you felt like this connection was overwhelming, like it was too much. But I also feel like some of you were expecting the relationship to either go like, your other relationships have gone in the past. Like maybe you didn't really argue with your exes or whoever, or not as soon as you have been with this person. I don't know if that Ten of Wands is really a burden. We can all handle different levels of stuff, but I feel like, again, going back to sabotage, which I heard earlier, some of you were self-sabotaging and just looking for any excuse to be out of this relationship, because you didn't realize, or you don't realize, that relationships actually require work, that you actually got to put in some effort, and you're going to have to work through these things, and the solution isn't always to run for the exit. Queen of Swords energy is not always to cut this person off. And with the Hangman here, it's like looking at your relationship differently, looking at yourself differently, and how you've kind of handled this person. These two energies here, this Queen of Swords and the King of Cups here, you have somebody who may be a lot more sensitive than the other person. And it's like you got to kind of take that into consideration, how you're approaching this person, what you're saying to this person, how you're saying it to this person. You can't cut this person down and still expect them to keep giving you the same thing, which is maybe why the King of Swords was up there, because maybe this person was very emotional and they got to a point where maybe you kept cutting them down, or they felt like you did, or you kept cutting them off, and it kind of caused them to be a bit more closed off and not as expressive emotionally, and maybe that's why there was something that wasn't being said or expressed, because this person feels like they can't, because you're always at their throat. Please clarify the Ace of Pentacles. We have Temperance, we have the Knight of Wands, we have the Four of Wands. I feel like this is restoring the passion, because again, with this Temperance is like finding the balance. Could also be the balance between moving too quickly and slowing down, passion and stability, having both in the relationship, but not relying on one more than the other. Understanding that it takes a combination of things to have this foundation, this Four of Wands. This is something that could lead to marriage if you aren't already married to this person. It is a very stable connection. Maybe, again, for those of you where there was some cheating, there was some inconsistency, this is something that has been healed. Seven of Swords in reverse, like that's done. But more importantly, I feel like it's, again, like I just said, not running for the hills at the first sign of trouble. Learning how to temper that energy, temper your energy, and instead of running, staying put, remaining grounded. So I feel like this has been really long already, but I'm going to go ahead and shuffle, and we're going to take a look at general messages from Spirit. What general messages do you have for the sign of Scorpio for February 2020? What general messages do you have for the sign of Scorpio? What general messages do you have for the sign of Scorpio for February 2020? What general messages do you have for the sign of Scorpio for February 2020? We have the Queen of Cups. We have the Two of Wands. We have the Nine of Pentacles. I'm hearing stepping into yourself. So that could be your true self, who you truly are, stepping into this more exalted, is what I'm hearing, version of yourself. Being in this Nine of Pentacles energy where you know your value, you know your worth, you're abundant. You know that you're abundant even if you don't have the tangible evidence of it. You know that it's coming. For some of you, you could be choosing to do something different, venturing out on your own, being independent, maybe moving out of your parents' home. Maybe instead of working for someone else, you're working for yourself. It just feels like you're venturing out on your own, doing something independently. Please, okay. We have the King of Pentacles in reverse. So there could be an issue or maybe some struggles, some difficulties when it comes to your finances. And maybe it's something that has really had you in your feelings with this Queen of Cups here. And maybe you're looking for a new way to make money, trying to come up with a game plan. But this King of Pentacles in reverse says that financially, or your sense of stability is on the chopping block. Something that has been an issue for you maybe for some time, could be about 2 months. For some of you it could be longer, but something that you've really struggled with over the last 2 months. Please, okay. Queen of Swords. We have the Chariot at the bottom of the deck, which is about success. I feel like the same attitude, the same energy that you had with the person you're in a relationship with or talking to or whatever, where, you know, you were quick to cut something off. You got to take this more dominant, assertive, a bit cutthroat attitude when it comes to your finances and what it is that you want. Like, you got to go after it. It's not just going to come to you. You can't be this Queen of Cups person when it comes to business. You just can't. Your feelings, your emotions, tuck them in your pocket and go after whatever it is that you want, whether you are a male or a female. Because this Queen of Swords is somebody who doesn't take no for an answer. Like, if it didn't work with this person, if it didn't work at this job, if they told you no, if they turned you down, So what? It's like, okay, cool, next. Because there is success for you. You have the Nine of Pentacles here. This is somebody who is abundant. You have the Chariot at the bottom of the deck, moving forward successfully. But I feel like you got to get out of your feelings and get in your bag. You got to be persistent. You got to go after it. This person, this Queen of Swords woman is not holding this sword, for a prop. Like, she's going to use this if it's necessary. By any means necessary. That doesn't mean, go around stepping on people's toes or not acting with integrity, but it means you're going to have to really apply some pressure to get what it is that you want. Again, tuck your feelings in your pocket. You deal with that another time. Right now it's about business. All y'all cards just flipping over before I can ask anything. The Star. Maybe you're looking for direction. Maybe you're looking for guidance on how to go about getting what it is that you desire. Maybe with this Two of Wands, it's a matter of not knowing what direction to go in, not knowing what path to choose. But I also feel like with this Star card, it's about being hopeful and remaining hopeful that you'll get what it is that you want, even if you don't see it right now. Like this Nine of Pentacles energy, like I said, you may not have the physical, tangible, money or the job, the house, the whatever it is that you want, but know that it's coming. And if you believe that, if you can see that, and you trust the universe and you have faith, then it will produce itself for you. Please clarify the Nine of Pentacles. Four of Cups. It's something being offered to you, but you're turning it down because you feel like you're too good for it. We got the Knight of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck. This feels like what you really want. It may be a little bit slow in coming to you. So it's like in the meantime, you got to take what the universe is giving you. Like, yeah, maybe you want a 6-figure job. Maybe you want to have your own business. Maybe you don't want to work for anybody else. You want to be this independent person. But maybe right now you got to, clean hotel rooms. Maybe right now you got to serve food. Maybe right now you got to be, I don't know, a janitor. You got to wash cars. You got to be security. You got to do what you got to do to get this money. Even if it's not something that you want, even if you feel like you're way too qualified to do this type of work, humble yourself and do what you got to do until you can do what you want to do, basically. Please clarify the Four of Cups. Death, your energy. Death and rebirth, an ending and a beginning. Look for something to be offered to you that will transform you financially. And again, it may not look the way you want it to. You may not think that this position that you feel may be beneath you or you're too qualified for it is going to transform you, but I feel like it will. Or it will at least connect you with somebody who can then help you do what it is that you want to do. The World is at the bottom of the deck. Maybe you have to look outside of the field that you've been looking. Maybe you've only been looking at jobs that pay X amount of dollars, or you've only been looking in this particular area, or you've only been looking at, jobs that you have a degree for or that you're interested in. It's like you're the King of Pentacles in reverse right now. Money is looking real funny. You got bills to pay. At this point, you got to do what you got to do. And you don't know what opportunities are going to come from you taking this job that you may not necessarily want to take because you feel like whatever you feel. This Four of Cups is somebody throwing a tantrum, basically. Please clarify the Two of Wands. Seven of Pentacles, Seven of Swords. We have the Nine of Swords and Judgment sticking up. And we have the Six of Wands at the bottom of the deck. Nine of Swords, Judgment says that you have a decision to make. It looks like regarding what path you're going to take. What are you going to do? Are you going to keep waiting around, having this pity party with this Seven of Pentacles, waiting for a specific job? Or are you going to do something different, even if that something different isn't necessarily what you want to do? Please clarify the Seven of Swords. Wheel of Fortune. The Lovers is at the bottom of the deck. So regarding a relationship, it could be a new cycle happening in your relationship, which we already talked about, maybe after some sort of deception, whether somebody was deceiving you or you were deceiving yourself, whatever the case may be. But I feel like in terms of money, finances, career, other aspects of your life outside of love, there's like a stroke of good luck, of good fortune coming towards you. But you got to do what you got to do and make sure that you're not trying to take the easy way out, that you're not trying to, do a get rich quick scheme, that you're not stepping on people's toes, basically trying to get what it is that you want, because that is going to come back to you. Remember that. Like I said, with this Queen of Swords, it's like by any means necessary, but not at the expense of somebody else, because those seeds that you plant will come back to you. So make sure that you're acting with integrity. Desperate times call for desperate measures, but that's what you're going to get back too. Please clarify the Seven of Pentacles, Page of Swords. This Page of Swords is like gathering information, gathering research, gathering whatever, but it says that you're doing something. The Seven of Pentacles is somebody just sitting there waiting. So if you've just been sitting around waiting for something to come, or you've been stressing and worrying about how you're going to do one particular thing, it's like, yes, you may be able to do that. You will be able to do that if it's something you're truly passionate about and want to pursue. But maybe right now that's not what you need to focus your attention on. This is also, to me, like an entry-level position. Again, maybe something you don't necessarily want to take because you feel like you're overqualified, but you're stressing and worrying about money here. And it's like, you got to take what's being given to you. You got to take what's available right now. Do what you got to do and make shit happen, basically. I told somebody yesterday the same thing, somebody who is a Scorpio, and I told him that it's temporary discomfort for long-term gain. So be uncomfortable for a little while. Do a job that maybe you don't necessarily want to do. You don't know what that job is going to provide you with, though. You don't know the connections that you may make, the people you may run into. And for all you know, this job that you don't necessarily want to take may turn out being a good experience, one that helps you to transform. Maybe you get connected with the right people who can then help you do whatever it is that you want to do independently. You don't know. So that's why you have to go out and get this job, apply this pressure, be persistent. But again, make sure that you're going about it in a way that is not hurting anybody else in the process. Not trying to scheme, not trying to scam, not trying to plot, not trying to get away with anything. Do it with integrity. And you'll get what it is that you want. You'll get what it is that you desire. So Scorpio, I do hope that this was helpful for you. Thank you so much for spending time with me. I greatly appreciate it. If you have not, please be sure to like this video, subscribe, turn on your post notification bell so that when I post a new video, you are notified. Until next time.